So let's talk about some cases that not everybody's going to encounter. There's sort of some side cases, some special cases. And I mean, a lot of people be there, but everybody doesn't have to worry about these. So the first one, which is a little hard to get your head around, is ref locals and ref out, ref return values. Okay?
Okay.
So you know if you pass a parameter to a method and it's a ref, that if you change it, then it's going to be changed on both sides whether or not it is a value type.
Correct.
So it's a way that you can pass a value type around and have it changed.
Yep.
Well, this is a return value, which is a ref, which is a little hard to get your head around.
Okay.
So the reason, let me tell you why you want to do this first.
Please.
Okay. Especially in some high performance situation with large arrays. And you're needing to go into an array location and make some sort of a change, and then make another change, and maybe do some other things within this array or within some other large value data structure. That's the most common case where this will be valuable. But because then you can take the actual reference to that memory location, and that's what you're actually going to be handing back from the method, not the value there, but the actual memory location. Just like a parameter passes a ref parameter, takes the actual memory location and sends it along to the method. It's the same thing with the return value. And so you're able to directly access that memory location.
Okay.
Okay. And now in order to have a ref return, you have to have some place to put it.
Right, yeah.
And that's a ref local.
Okay.
So one of the things that's kind of odd about this is if you're using this feature, and I'm not going to demo it because it makes no sense unless you actually need it, okay?
Right.
But when you're doing it, everything has to be ref. So the return statement has a ref in it, the declaration of the method has a ref in it, and then when you make the call, the value comes back. That has to go into a ref local. Okay.
Wow, okay.
So you got to kind of get all your ducks lined up.
Yeah.
And in some of those, it won't give you an error. In some, you will. But if you don't put the ref on the local you're returning into, it just, you didn't really want that to be ref. We'll just treat it normally.
So it doesn't,
yeah, so sometimes,
not a syntax error, not a runtime error, just a...
No, it gives you a syntax error if you say that it's going to be a ref in the declaration of the function, but then in the return statement you forget to put the ref there.
Okay.
Then it's going to, but it's really decorated with ref a lot, because you really want to know you're doing this when you are. It's not everyday thing.
Yeah.
Absolutely not an everyday thing. So that's one feature that for the people that need it, it's a really big deal.
So, and if they wanted to learn more about it, like what it looked like, since we're not demoing it here, is there a place that they could go?
Okay, so there should be some Pluralsight courses coming up. I'm not quite sure exactly, what's going to be in the pipeline on that, but there's going to be some stuff there. There's definitely some blog posts on it, and if you look at the release notes, it's going to have a little bit on it there.
Nice.
So in the main documentation for this version of Visual Studio, we'll have it.
Gotcha. So, but if they need help with Google Foo, what's the name of the feature that they should look for?
It's ref locals and
locals.
ref return values. Ref return values.
Ref return values.
Yeah, and that brings up something else, which is one of the changes that happened in this version is the documentation. So the documentation, among other things, and there's kind of a long list of ways that it's gotten better, but one of those ways is it's open source. So if you would like to make a little contribution on the open source side and you're not ready to dive in and understand the Roslyn compiler or some other big hairy thing, and you find things that you think are weak or wrong or something else, you can put a pull request directly against the documentation for C# and Visual Studio, which is just like, oh wow, why didn't they do that? Years ago. So it's really that's a really cool feature.
And that is absolutely huge.
Excited about that.
Yep, me too. Me too.
Yeah.
A lot of teams have actually gone to sort of the open source model, not just for the code, but for the documentation, like Azure and PowerShell. Yeah, so it's really exciting.
Yeah, so it's great. Just a whole opening of everything there.
Yep.
So it's great.
No reason to complain about the documentation not being up to date when you can go in and fix it, right?
Right.